what's a good piece of advice that, or something, excuse me, a lesson that you learned because you just did your Hunter's Weekend was your first feature? What's something you learned on Hunter's Weekend to take to the next feature or other project? Maybe it's something to do or something to not ever do again.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Thanks.
Like
I got one.
I try and think of an answer. Something I learned. Well, I mean, this is probably less about on-set learning and just sort of like the overall conception of a project. And it's very like marketplace, annoying, how to sell your movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
well, I mean, I love the cast and I love all these actors and working with them, but they're unknown. And if maybe I had tried to get at least one actor in there who had a name, that might have helped us in terms of distribution and promotion.
Mm-hmm.
And that sucks, because it's not like a name actor is necessarily going to give a better performance.
Right, yeah.
But it's just, in the sea of all the films out there, if you can say, oh yeah, like Lance Henriksen is in this film, there's a certain segment of people who are like, oh yeah, I recognize him. I like his stuff. Especially in the horror community. So, it's like going forward, I would probably like to push for, having at least one person in the cast with a name, which I don't like that idea particularly. Just having a name for name's sake, that sucks. But, I think if you want your film to sort of break out or rise above the noise and find an audience, you might, think about that. Because otherwise it's, it's tough.
Yeah, we had a distributor at Atlanta Film Festival a couple years ago, just talking about just like real basics, real, like no BS kind of stuff. And that was one of the things. It's like, man, you gotta, you literally have to have somebody. It has to be the best movie ever made. If you don't have a name, it has to be just blowingly amazing. But for 99.999% of other movies, you got to have at least one person that the company is going to be like, oh, I recognize that person. Yeah. Therefore, other people will recognize them.
Yeah.
And then he went on to insult my favorite actor, Eric Roberts, because Eric Roberts is in every single movie. So he said, if you have Eric Roberts in your movie, it doesn't count because he's in every movie. And I was like, man, that makes sense, I guess, actually, because he is in every movie.
Well, presumably there's people out there who really like an Eric Roberts movie.
I do. I wouldn't
turn my nose.
There's at least a dozen of us.
Eric Roberts, if I, but I mean, it sucks because it's a shame. I think.
Yeah.
And it used to be like there's sort of the romantic idea of like Sundance. You could go, like in the 90s, like Kevin Smith goes with Clerks. It's like there's nobody in that movie that you knew who they were, and it's a hit, but you just can't do that anymore. And I guess it's because of how much content there is out there. People don't even know where to start searching, so they gravitate towards things where they recognize something.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of a bummer of a lesson that I take with me, but it sort of is. It is what it is.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's the film business, not the film just for fun.
Yeah,
I guess, or something.
Wah, wah.